Our story begins with M8s on the Hudson line. Wait, what? Why didn't you put an introduction here? Quiet, Second Escape, you're not needed now. Anyway, now I was flabbergasted that I was seeing an M8 on the Hudson line till I realized that a little place called Highbridge Yard exists. Okay, I'm sorry, but just let me explain. Basically, the Freight Escape is going on vacation at a place called Asbury Park, New Jersey. Now, fortunately for him, there's rail fanning along the way. He was originally supposed to go through stinky Staten Island, but Apple Maps rerouted him over the George Washington Bridge and down I-95. Alright, back to the video. More M8s were spotted arriving and departing Highbridge Yard, which was actually pretty cool to see from the highway. There were also 3 heritage units in the yard, those being M Central, New York Central, and Penn Central. I also spotted a Metro North GP35 doing some switching work north of Highbridge. Over the George Washington Bridge, my first catch in New Jersey was surprisingly a Sperry rail truck, which I've never seen before. And I found this very homemade looking trailer, which I don't even know if that's legal. We then passed over Little Ferry Yard. I think this is Little Ferry, please correct me if I'm wrong. Then I got a video of an Amtrak Keystone train meeting a southbound New Jersey Transit. Then a United Boeing 737 went right over our heads and landed at Newark Airport. Then on the other side of the highway, I noticed 2 CSX engines doing some switching. Then quite the tragic fail happened. So basically, you can see a guy on the back of that tanker car. This means that the train was moving. I figured it was a Conrail job shoving off the chemical coast, so I started recording in case there was some power. Finally, I see the power, and it's at least 1 Canadian National engine shoving the train. But unfortunately, the highway has other plans, and a ramp starts to rise right as the engines are about to go through. Then I spot an Amtrak truck, an Amtruck? I don't know what you call those. When you came into the lobby of the Asbury Hotel, there were some G-scale boxcars on display, which was absolutely awesome to me. These things were crazy weathered and crazy graffitied, and that was so cool. So we're here at the Asbury Park, the former depot. This was built sometime in the early 1900s. With my tripod here, I'm waiting for a northbound to Long Branch and a southbound to Bayhead, which I may or may not see. So yeah, we'll see about that. The northbound to Long Branch never showed for some reason, but we were able to get this southbound from Penn Station to Bayhead. As some of you may know, I'm obsessed with classic arcade machines. It was so cool because this place had a pinball museum, which was just amazing. They also had some classic cabinets. I even got the high score on their Galaga machine. Then it was time to leave, and on the way home we made a stop in Port Reading, where I first saw an NS train getting ready to come off the Chemical Coast. I drove through Port Reading Yard and saw nothing really interesting. However, I still decided to go to the Port Reading Diamond to see if that NS tanker train would come through. I really kept thinking I was paranoid as I kept hearing an e-bell, but it turns out my suspicions were right when I walked over to the beginning of the yard and I saw an NS Gevo getting ready to pull out. I scrambled back over to the spot to see this NS tanker train pull out of Port Reading Yard with a Canadian National engine trailing second. I guess this makes up for the fail on I-95. After this, the tanker train shoved back into Port Reading Yard. Then on the way home, I caught this Conrail trash train headed down on the Travis branch in Staten Island. Anyway, thank you for watching my grand gallivanter around the state of New Jersey. I know it was a vacation, so it wasn't all that interesting, but I still saw some pretty cool things. And it's always awesome to see foreign power, no matter the railroad. So, yeah. Anyways, see you guys in the next video. Bye.